At 7 o'clock, I will call the Tuesday, July 9th, 2024 Village of Port Edwards Board Meeting to order, sorry. I will ask Diane to do the roll call.
Trustee Grundon.
Here.
Trustee Hess.
Here.
Trustee Moore.
Here.
Trustee Radke.
Here.
Trustee Saylor.
Here.
And Trustee Zerflu.
Is vacationing. All right, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and after we finish with the pledge, we will stand for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we will do number 4, motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Radke,
Second.
second by Hess. Any discussion about those? Trustee Saylor.
I got a question, Diane, on the bills that were paid.
Okay.
What is the WW deficit like?
Wastewater deficit loan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That one carries. Okay, for a moment, if there's no objection, I'm gonna move to number 6 for President's Report for the swearing in of firefighters. Chris Diggles and Tim Schultz. Jessica Leese is sick and Jeff Abley is not out of work and Brian Lubke cannot make it either. So Chairman Stewart, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, I actually just asked that Chris Diggles and Tim Schultz go up to the front and with their loved one, and we'll have them sworn in.
Okay.
After they're sworn in, their loved one will pin their badge on them. Representing the fire department officer is Lieutenant Mansell, and he wants to say a couple of words too.
You wanna do that now or after?
What's that?
You wanna do that now or after?
I can do it now.
Okay,
Get it out of the way.
okay, we'll do it now.
So both Tim and Chris are longtime village residents. Both have children that utilize our school district. Tim is also a dedicated fire officer to the village or to the town of Rome. Chris has been a very eager participant, jumping right in, very willing to learn everything. He starts class this fall. I want to say September, August, whenever that fires up. So very excited to have these two join our department with Tim with his knowledge is coming in and Chris's participation. So would also like to make mention that as our meeting concluded yesterday for the regular business meeting of the fire department, we did move Cassidy Sayers and Jordan Foos to full members. Cassidy, if you can recall, just completed her firefighter 1 state certification. Looking to see how she grows in this position as well. Jordan came into our department with that, and the next step for him is going to be learning how to be an MPO. So those classes, I believe, are also starting up this fall, so we're going to look to get him enrolled in that as well.
Thank you. All right, Diane, take her away.
I state your name.
I, Tim Schultz,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Wisconsin against all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
and the state of Wisconsin against all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as firefighter
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as
and member of the Port Edwards Fire Department of the Village of Port Edwards,
a member of the Port Edwards Fire Department. Port Edwards,
under the appointment of the department,
under the appointment of the department,
according to the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
according to the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
Village of Port Edwards of Wood County, to the best of my skills and abilities, so help me God.
Village of Port Edwards, Wood County, to the best of my skills and abilities, so help me God.
Ready?
Put that right there.
Oh, we'll try again.
Here we go, poke. There you go, perfect.
Right into the skin.
Make sure you hit hard. Yeah, if you're not bleeding, you're not doing it right.
All right, congratulations, thank you. Great. Okay, anything else, Mr. Stewart, on those individuals?
If you want me to do my report as well, you want me to wait?
Why don't you just wait a second,
Okay.
if that's okay? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, we will jump back to number 5 for public comment. Does anybody have public comment? I have Carrie with a X. Okay.
Terry Smith, I'm just voicing my concerns on this intersection by the river. I've been down there a half dozen times since they opened. They didn't have signs up for do not enter. So the first weekend it was open, there was no signage to know how to go straight to the Y for the little kids, semis, how they're gonna go around the intersection is beyond me. Who engineered it? Who okayed it from this village saying that that was a good plan? Property owners down there are upset to get straight from Rapids to the Y area is a dangerous intersection now. I mean, I don't know, if that same person is the one that clarified putting a crosswalk down by the gas station with safety, but I'd just like to know, I've been in numerous meetings where they promote that mill property going to be warehousing, you know, as an aspect. And when you can't get semis down there safely, how are you gonna promote businesses as warehousing to wanna be down there? That's all I got.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything?
I do have a question about that.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a call from Chris Martinson, who drives dump trucks, and he asked how, I mean, I haven't been down there, I just saw the no stop sign to go to the left.
Mhm.
Are semi trucks and stuff coming in the milk specialty there straight across, or how is that set up over there?
What I understand is interesting, talked to Ben about it this morning. Excuse me. And Ben said that he's talked to the designers, and there's some signage that still need to be put up. And that may help, he's gonna help much better than right now, he doesn't have signage to help make that turn. What I understand was I've been through it too, is that you're correct, you gotta go into, you gotta make your right-hand turn on a curve if you're going into the, and then you gotta come across and make your left-hand turn into that, in the next lane, that's for the, if you've been there, it looks a little difficult at first, but when you, get signage here, you'll be able to, when you come out, you come this way, when you go in, you gotta go up into the curve and then come back. Get into Wisconsin Avenue. Yeah.
And semis are able to do that, they're able to.
No, I didn't design it, so it was designed by WestDOT, and basically when they designed that piece, I know that they put turning movements on, truck movements, et cetera, because I've been involved with the work. And there should be enough room to do that, but I can't verify that unless you go to the design piece. And then the best one who I can go to would be Ben, because Ben was understand the design process, was involved when they first put it together. And portion of it.
Yeah.
I have, that's the way I did it originally, because I assumed that the lanes coming at you is a right turn and a left lane. Now, the signage is up now, so the do not enters are up, and traffic from the highway doesn't stop, it's on the other side. You have to go to the right and then turn left. I have a four-door truck, and I almost hit the curb trying to make that with my pickup truck, so the semi's gonna go over.
Anybody else have any public comment? No? Okay. Then we will go into committee reports, airport commission, trustee Zerflu isn't here right now, so I believe the meeting minutes are in the packet. Yes. So I think next month, the airport manager, Jeremy Sickler, is gonna come and give us his quarterly spiel. So we will go to Police and Fire Commission now, Chairman Stewart.
Thank you. We last met as a full commission at the end of May, but last night a subcommittee conducted more firefighter entry interviews, 2 of them. We will be next meeting at 7:15 at 5 o'clock. And we'll be giving a report on how those interviews went, and the chief of police will report to us on their background investigations for those 2 applicants. So 2 more in the mix. The PFC continues to work on a transition for the police chief's position. I think what I'll probably do this week is email the chairs of the FHR committee as well as the public safety committee and attach the area police chief salary information. And then just ask that those committees discuss, put it on their agenda to discuss, and provide to the PFC some guidance as to a salary window of what you're looking for to pay the police chief in the 2025 budget. Because we don't expect our chief to leave until February. And the reason we need that salary range is we use it for advertising purposes of the new chief and for recruitment purposes, basically.
Sure.
Other than that, like the lieutenant said, 2 of the fire employees who were associate status just got changed to full firefighter status. So just so if you're keeping score, we have 2 current associate level status firefighters that are Jessica Leese and Chris Stiggles, who you met tonight. The rest are our full firefighters, including Tim Schultz, who was sworn in tonight. He has the credentials that allow him to be full firefighter status. I'll let you know how we do with these 2 other potential employees that are in the offer. I think that's all I have. Like I said, our next meeting is Monday, this coming Monday, 7:15. And staffing from just my count, staffing on the fire department is at 13.
I just had one thing. I spoke with Chief Drew about, his retirement upcoming. And he plans on being on the books or still employed, even though he'll probably be done in February, he'll still be on the books until April from vacation and sick time or something on that point. So I think we have to, when we do discuss that, we will have to know that he'll still be on the books until April.
Are you given a message that our new chief should not be hired until April?
Well, I'm giving that information to the board. I guess that we can discuss that in the FHR or maybe a committee of the whole.
Okay.
And let the whole board decide that. I just wanted the information to be out because we're talking also in FHR, which will be later on, is we're starting our budget process already for 2025. So I just want that to be out there so we're all aware when it comes down to dollars and cents.
Sure.
So.
Sounds good.
Anything else for Chairman Stewart? No? Okay. Thank you. Plan Commission did not meet, so we are on to Public Works Committee.
We met on the 19th. Just the things on discussion were the updates on the project and some of the chip sealing that was going to happen. Pretty short and sweet. Same thing that Lon kind of said. We're going to start looking at the budget coming this next meeting. Our next meeting is July 24th at 10 a.m.
At 10. Okay. Any questions for Chairman Saylor? No? Okay. Parks and Rec Committee,
We did not have a meeting,
no
no
meeting,
chairman comments.
no meeting, no comments. Do you have another meeting planned?
We do not. I was
Okay.
thinking we'll wait till Joe's available to make sure we.
Sure.
coordinate it.
Sure, okay. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Zerflu is not here, so Eric, would you take public safety?
Yeah, we met on June 26th at 4:30. Chief Police gave us an update of some stuff that's going on in the fire department. With Adley completing state fire inspector class, DNR grant. Then we had the discussion on the fire chief utilizing his personal vehicle. We're waiting some more information to discuss that any further. Chief Drew talked about gave his report. The biggest concern was all the chaos with the semis going up and down roads that they're not supposed to be. That's about it. Next meeting Wednesday, July 24th at 4:30.
Okay, any questions on public safety?
What was the update on the DNR grant?
That's due July 1st.
So how much can they get? Is it a matching grant?
50/50.
It's a 50/50, and that's the one that was put in for the, sorry.
Just for PPE.
Okay, anything else out of or for public safety? Okay, there is a motion to authorize Officer Abbott to obtain therapy search and rescue dog to use in the village for schools, nursing home, churches, and calls of service at no cost to the village. I know there's paperwork in here. Let me find it. Dwayne, do you want, well, I'm flipping. Do you have anything on there? Sorry.
We have in the pack, there's a memorandum of understanding between Port Everett School District and Therapy Dog. One of the questions that has been asked to me after it's been submitted, and I know here is that memorandum of understanding, was that drafted by who? Was it you or Jim or someone else?
I did.
Huh?
I drafted it.
You drafted, it wasn't not reviewed by our attorney there at all. Their attorney.
Their attorney did.
Their attorney
School?
did?
Correct.
That's okay.
It was taken to their legal.
Yeah, and then the other, I think, in minutes of the village board, we pretty well have everything here, but then they're looking for, I think it's still missing the memorandum of understanding between the village and you.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, that was my mention to the police chief, so he never mentioned anything to that. Okay, that's still missing, I think, based on what I saw the minutes of the last village board meeting, and that was memorandum of understanding. We need one too to make sure the village is covered, but you have all of it, but we need the memorandum of understanding.
Great. Did this come in front of the full board?
Yes, it did, and on, what date was it?
April 9th.
April 9th.
It wasn't something. That's why I'm confused.
So on April 9th, for it came from public safety. Then it went to the village board, the motion through, then they withdrew their motion and asked for all these the documents that you're providing right now.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where I didn't have that when you came to me the other night. And when I looked at public safety, now that I have that, I realize it's one thing we still need. So it's in terms
So
of the
should
board
we-
and the agenda, they can wait for the next meeting to have everything in front of you, or take it to public safety. Your choice is, I'm not playing with it.
Well, I think it would be fair to bring it back to public safety and then brought
Back
back
to
to the
public
next
safety,
meeting,
that's what I
so they
would-
can review
That we would just
so
make,
that way we're not questioning the memorandum between the village and the board. The public safety can do that and give us the information saying, hey, it's okay. And bring it to
that way
the
we just
board.
make sure public safety can just make sure everything is there before it comes here again. So does that sound agreeable to everybody?
So what is the board looking for from that? Because
We
So you
still-
have the school, between you and the school, but we need one from the village and the school. And then
Drafts.
probably you as well, if it's your personal dog. So I would assume Attorney Apps would need to get involved with that.
Right, because the dog is gonna be with us first, and then you're taking the school, so we wanna make sure the school and village are on the same page at the same time, but just dotting the i's and crossing the t's. I'll work with you after.
Can you email me what you need, please, so I know what I need? from you?
Yes, we can do that, but I meant, my question is, how much were you working with the police chief on this? He's not here tonight.
No, he's working the traffic.
Okay. I'll work with you and him.
Okay, so we'll take this back to public safety, then they can bring it here for the next month. Thank you. Okay. So do we need to? We don't have to do anything with it because nobody made the motion.
No.
So, okay. Okay. Anything else from public safety? Just want to make sure I covered it all. Okay. Then we will go to G, planning legislative property. Chairman Moore.
All right, we met on June 19th. We talked about several things, the first of which was updates on previously discussed properties. So that Second Street property has been sold at this point, and the garage is scheduled to be moved. It sounds like eventually they'll build on that property, but not this summer yet. And I think that has to do with kind of the road getting redone there. The post office citations have been given. I think that they've heard back from the owners, and the owners have said that they are going to look for a contractor, but that has not been put into motion as we've gotten some of their emails. So, someone from out of state.
Right.
I can't even remember
Me
what state they live in. It's
I think it's Kentucky or something.
west.
Owns the entire strip.
No.
No,
the
just the
post
post
office.
office.
They own a federal building.
No.
Apparently it's-
Not a fed.
No, they're renting it.
Federal building, and they own it, and the feds rent from.
apparently
That's
it's
how it
not a
works. As a matter of fact, I don't think the post office owns that many buildings now. Anyway.
So, they had kind of a 7/15 date as far as when things needed to be moving, and if that wasn't happening, then, we'll take further action.
As a matter of fact, the police chief and the public works director are working on it today or tomorrow, so they're in that process of taking the next step.
Yes. And then Mission Coffee, we briefly talked about, basically, there's not a major update because of course, we're waiting for the fall to see if, Mission Coffee's awarded the grant. There was a discussion as far as village land and is any of it able to be developed. So we went through the properties the village owns. One of the properties, there aren't utilities there, so that's tough for developers. Obviously, there's extra cost. We talked about the parcel that the village crew uses for storage off of Port Road, and really that's beneficial to kind of leave that as is, since the village crew does use that. And another is part of the boundary agreement. The discussion was to kind of hang on to that at this point. So out of that, there was a request for some information about the disc golf area. So we're talking about that next time. The village comprehensive plan is due in 2025. We asked that Mr. Gao work with, and I can't think of who you were reaching out to who, sorry.
Regional Planning Commission and Wood County, they both have done it past. I have reached out to them already.
Okay, so to see if they can help with that plan that's due in 2025, some more to come on that later. At this point, we're waiting on committee of the whole. Basically, if there's the potential to restructure meetings, we really need to wait until there's some final decisions on what's happening with the administrator position. Future agenda, or sorry, future meeting date is Wednesday, July 31st at 5:30 p.m.
Any questions for Chairman Moore? On that 31st.
Okay, and then you'll see on your agenda that it's listed as a motion to approve ordinance ordinance number 23, amending the committee structure. This was supposed to be on the last board meeting. This had to do with, FHR taking over IT, which we had talked about and approved, but this was just the ordinance that still had to be completed.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve ordinance number 23, amending the committee structure?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Moore. Is there a second? Second by Hess. Okay, discussion. Anybody?
So how would that restructure?
The discussion was that it made more sense for IT to be an FHR since IT's connected to funding
Okay,
so significantly
Oh,
instead of
that's that one,
bouncing it
okay.
from, yep,
That way it just
Um,
doesn't bounce from one to the next.
right. Because as we're working with Wood County, it really comes down to here's what we need, here's the money. So instead of bouncing it around for months, you guys just take it.
okay.
Any,
Let's go to Mike.
any other questions, comments, concerns on that? No, hearing none. We have a motion by Moore, second by Hess to approve ordinance number 23, amending the committee structure. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That one carries. Okay. Anything else out of Pitt? Any questions for Chairman Moore? Okay. Thank you. Chairman Radke, FHR and now IT.
Okay, yeah, FHR and now IT. We met July 2nd at 5 PM here at Marshall Bueller Center. We had Vanderwalt actually zoomed in and was giving us an update on the DMI property and their work and what they've been doing and what DMI has not been doing, in my opinion. But, you know, we've been throwing out some good faith things, and one of the things that later on, there was a motion here, but I'm gonna ask that we say that motion after talking to Administrator Dahl that for the next meeting that he has a meeting tomorrow actually with DMI. So we'll see if they can straighten everything out, because the condition of the motion was Vanderwalt had some conditions on that for them to get their permit. And we were gonna try to get that motion on, so the conditions, if they met the conditions, we could start something over there. So hopefully he can get some more information tomorrow, and we can put this to rest in the August meeting. And that's where I'm at with that. I guess later on, some agenda items for next meeting I'll get to that after my report. Also, Dwayne gave us an update on employee evaluations. He's almost done with them. He'll have them at next meeting. And there was discussion on the village administrator position. As you know, Dwayne is made it very vocal. I haven't seen a written notice yet, but he says that in December, he's going to be leaving. And so we would like to set a committee of the whole, so we are all involved on this. And we know where we're gonna come before we take it to the village. And there's some proposals that Dwayne's been working on. And he has that information, and he will bring it and present it here in August. On August 8th is our next meeting for FHR. And we'd like to do a committee of the whole right after the FHR meeting. So that would be August 8th at 6 o'clock if people are available. If not, we can try to reschedule that, but right now tentatively, we're looking at that. So we have a further path of what we're gonna do when Dwayne leaves in December. Other than that, like I said, I'm going to say that we're going to I'm gonna forego the motion at this time on the demolition permit. But we do have some, again, we're looking at the 6-month budget of the village at next meeting. And actually, we're gonna have discussion on how much services we want to use Vanderwalt. Because I think that we've had some discussion before, and Vanderwalt bills are piling up. It was coming out of TIF money, but where do we want to set a limit? So if anybody that's interested too, please come to the FHR meeting so we can kind of have that and know where we're gonna go with further pass with Vanderwall services. Other than that, I don't have anything at this time. Anybody have any questions?
Questions for Chairman Radke?
Excuse me, I do have a question. In the motion for the demolition permit, all of those things are listed that they want to comply with. I do have one additional question. Who is gonna ensure compliance with all of those things?
I'll give you that to Dwayne there, because we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that, and basically when I sent an email out to DMI, I said that these are the conditions that are put on. And if they get approved by the village board, I would be the one managing these conditions, will be monitored by me and village staff. And the reason I'm saying interim village administrator, I had it on the doc in the minutes this year too. Because this is something, if we get it going through and we get a process, and if I leave, I want to set up the whole process with, and I know who's been, I've been working with them for me and Ben. So these things are achievable. Some of them are fairly easy to take care of. There's 2 of them that is a later date, but it's the 24th, and that's the one that will happen. You can start doing demo, but you still have to have that piece taken care of for our requirements. And that's the piece I believe they want to talk to me about yet tomorrow. That's why we asked to postpone this until next meeting. Clarification. What we did, we staff, when we put this together, knew it was coming, they wanted one, we said, okay, we're gonna bring it forth, and I took it to the finance administration. It was only we had left between this village board meeting. And I said to him, we'll take it, and then after I went to the finance administration, we made sure all these conditions were going to be brought forth to the village board. These are conditions that are all in your ordinance, requirements of it. And I sent them a letter saying, an email highlighting each one, which could be done within a very short period of time. And which ones are to be done in a certain, they have to get permits from another agency. They need ours to get that, so it's kind of a tit for tat. But at the same time, I said I'll be monitoring these. And if you look through it, the 2 that are the most is the PUD, putting the PUD together, and then the other one is the what's the other one? The planning, 20 is the developers agreement, and that's the one that I need to verify with them where that development is going to be, how much we have. The last one we had was the whole site. This might be narrowed down to a smaller part of the site, and we can get that discussions, or that's one of the 2 that I really want to zero in on. The other thing is to monitor all this. This is something once we come back in next meeting, we agree with all that these terms of them. The thing that I have, if we don't agree with these terms, it's going to be to the point like, my term is move or get off dead center. I have to have that discussion with them tomorrow, because that's where we are at, the village is at. We've done a lot of work bringing them to this point. We mean Vanderwall, myself. Vanderwall has done their job, and it's kind of to the point where it's turned over to me to make sure this gets completed. The village level. Who's someone's got to make sure they monitor it, and it have to be my staff, myself, and my comrade Big Ben. He has to be very much involved with it. That answer your question? Pretty long.
Partially.
Come back with another one.
No, I'm fine with that. Okay, thank you.
So one of the stipulations for the recommended action is full and timely payment of all property taxes and water sewer charges. Are they still behind?
No, I don't think they are anymore, are they? That wasn't the last time I talked to
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to check on the county site.
you. Yeah, but that's one of the things we wanted in there, because I don't need staff that need to be chasing them down anymore. Diane said enough of it.
Anything else? Okay.
It's like,
All right, anything else on the FHR Chairman Radke?
No, I guess just the one other thing, and that we're gonna have on the agenda is the IT, since it's been pushed over to us. And we really have to decide on, I guess, I would like Dwayne to Kim and Diane use the computer system the most, so I would like them to be totally involved on what their recommendation are, because they're the ones that are using it on a day-to-day basis, so.
we had that discussion today, and one of our trustees, I'm hoping to could still help us. And we've been trying to get a hold of them. I sent the email. I sent an email if they are supposed to. Okay, I'm seeing if.
But I think that we will have to jump on that sooner than later.
Mhm.
What we're gonna do with
Staff and I were discussing it as basically, we need to make sure that we want to go with, big questions are how we got with the county. We have agreement with the county. We were with the, Dirks. I was here last time with Dirks, so you got changed to the county. I understand we're a pilot with them, so I'm trying to say we're a pilot, what was decided in a pilot. Is it just about to check them out, or do we have an agreement? We need to go through that pieces to make sure we're behind. And not me, Marion, the staff brought that up today this morning.
Well, and I would recommend Eric. Trustee Saylor be part of that, because he
Well,
does know a
I'm
lot
asking
more
for his
about that.
volunteer. I'm not begging you.
Okay.
Okay. We are done with FHR. We will go to number 8, unfinished business from previous meetings. Anybody have anything? Okay, new business. I'll do, I have, it's a correspondence from the Nepco Lake District from Miss Vicky about, let me see here. A letter of support from the village board for, actually, without objection, Vicky, do you want to explain it? You'd probably,
Yeah, we're applying for Wisconsin DNR grant for some educational programming for personal owners of the lake as well as users of the lake. It's a $5,000 grant application, grant it's awarded. But we do need letters of support from municipalities that they agree that we can, that this grant is an appropriate thing.
Okay.
So that's-
And there's a deadline of August 1st.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted her to bring up correspondence.
Yeah,
We can't get it to the
our
committee.
application is due in September, so.
Does it need a motion or? can we just-
well, that's what,
I want the correspondence and I want to make sure that you all are aware of it and
do you have any?
What's the grant for?
It's actually considered a surface water grant, specifically on education, and it's intended to provide educational programming for the parcel owners of the lake and users of the lake. So we have several activities, including educational classes, creating information packets, doing some shoreline educational programming, working with UWSP Extension for their DNR program and affiliating our members through our website with good programming available on that site, usually virtual learning activity and opportunities. So it's really to get people aware of what are AIS and what can they do to improve shore maintenance and minimize shore erosion, those kinds of things.
and then the letter came to me and I wanted to get it to Betsy that the request was the letter of support. And it's not just to Port Edward, it's to also to everybody, any municipality that's abutting
Right,
the.
so Port Edward got one, Saratoga, Grand Rapids, Wood County. We did send one to Domtar as well as to the YMCA, people who are inhabitants, if you will, of the lake.
Go ahead.
5,000, no matching.
Yes, there is a matching. We do have a matching fund with that, which we have to, we're obligated through our financial resources as a district, as well as some donation activities. In kind, volunteer hours, so forth. The grant spells out the kinds of things that can be used in the rate at which they can be counted towards the match.
It's 33% match, so when you get 5,000 and 30% is the match that they have to come up with. Right.
Any other questions about this? Is everybody okay with the village doing that?
Mhm.
Okay, there we go. Anything else in new business? No, report from village administrator.
Yes, in your packet, I had put a report, written one up and the heading I copy and paste from it. It's actually CSM, a forest trail and West Westfield, Copper and Shaw are the owners of PUD. In your packet, they have about, they're breaking 4 lots off on a section they already have owned, and it's fairly large. Also in your packet is a black and white of the area. And basically, when you come to it, basically what it is, it's in a PUD, they already have a plan, and all they're doing is taking this one section and breaking off 4 lots. And that's what needs to be approved by the board, so they can move forward and get this certified survey report. And I understand that this is how a lot of them came through for that in the past, so that's why I moved that report.
Okay,
So basically, it's recommended action, motion to approve the CSM creating 4 lots off of Forest Trail. Owners Westfield, Copper and Shaw.
okay. Is there a motion to approve the CSM for
I'll make
Forest
that
Trail?
motion.
Motion by Radke. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hess. Discussion. Trustee Saylor.
Pavlovsky's, or is this a different owner?
It's in the Pavlovsky development, it's owned, these people own this section, larger chunk of land, and they're the ones breaking down to the sidewalk. It's in that group.
Are they a development?
No, they're just they're actually 2 ladies that own it. They're breaking it off, yeah.
Anything else?
Have they discussed their plans once they?
No, they have, well, they break it off for residential development, the size that you have on it, but because it's in the PUD, it's already been in the PUD plan unit development as residential. And basically, I don't know why Pavlovsky didn't break them smaller lots, but I think these people knew what's coming on. They won't for quite some time, the larger lot. And you can see there in base lot 1, 2, and 3 are very similar to other lots that are out there. And way Pavlovsky's divided, and lot 4 is I think is more, they may want their own ownership. I don't know for sure, but that's how I see it.
If there's future development of these lots, does that come to the village?
Yes, the permitting process comes to the village for permit.
Then does that assessed value come into the village
Yes, it will.
or tax levy?
It will now, yes, but it's off that developer,
This all complies with our ordinances.
according to PUD ordinance, yeah. At PUD, you really have to go through real detail, and I've been through it, and as you can see on the black and white one, the next to it, there's a small lot, very similar to these. We're not gonna say it's a lot, one. It's a service certified CSM, it's almost the same size as that, and then what they're creating. So they're taking a fairly 3.9 acres and break them down to 6.67 acres, 1.66, 1.64, and the other is 1.97. And if you look at, I looked at the PUD and some of the lots that the PUDs approved on, and the village approved on, very is similar to what this being coming certified survey.
Anything else? No? Okay.
And, you know, the question here, it's hard to see this because you look at certified surveys based on our ordinance, but when you put it into a PUD, you've got a completely different process that that PUD is approved on. And it's been done quite some years ago, so that's why I have to look back.
All right, we have a motion by Radke, second by Hess. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That one carries. Okay, what else do you have for us, Dwayne?
Right? All I have in mind, I think.
Okay, you don't have any
Oh.
other report?
I do, there was a deadline on a report for a grant from the county to the county for economic development. And what I put together and I looked at the county has we did the process, the study of the administration building that was completed a while ago that the DNR had provided the funds for. And what I worked on with Vanderwall was, let's put an application in for the grant, which had to be due July 5th. And got the information after the last board meeting. Basically, we could be eligible, put a grant in for 20,000, which is a 50-50 split. And what the idea is that you got a plan in place. You want to work with the county on this process to see if we can now put a RFP out. RFP to see if someone would actually continue taking the land. A person would propose, buying a land or getting hold of land. And in our process is trying to find grants for demolition too. And that's and that way we can get an RFP out to the public saying that we meaning county and us want to see that piece of property be developed. The biggest hurdle is the demolition. And demolition is a big piece. The other thing is a hurdle on it, which is in our proposal, is that half the building is owned by county and then half the tax is owned by DMI. We've had discussions with DMI and they said, they would find, anybody can pick it up as long as we can find someone who wants demolition. That's the biggest part of the demolition cost, that total thing. The building's been sitting there too long. I went through it many years ago and it can no longer be rehabbed. It's got to be demoed because of all the mold, asbestos and portion of it. Today, I did have a conference call with a developer and we discussed it just to show what we're thinking of a plan, and we got good response from the developer, and we knew this. The other forces, boy, if that was, they call it Greenfield, those two buildings are demolition, they said there'll be people definitely interested in doing something on that site because it's a pretty good site. It's also got waterfront to it. So Vanderwall and I are working real hard to make sure we can get this grant out. I'm pretty sure we may get it because the county owns the property and it's in our community. You want to see something get done with it. And part of the process is looking for grant procedures to see if we can demo on it. Some of the things in that process, and it'll happen in 2025, is that, a lot of things like this, you need sometimes a little special legislation to help you. You got to get your oil and water, you got to have plans in place, you got to have these things in place to get someone to our representatives. You have a lot of things they're doing statewide. And you need these documents to go to somebody and say, we need your help because we have a blighted, molded situation. And the other thing is that if you do this plan and then you say, if you find a development that, if you looked at all three alternatives, four alternatives of that plan, if one of those could go in and you turn around and we get it demoed, you may then do an overlay TIF just for that development, but it's got to make sure it turns. And that's one of the things that you do in this planning document too. So that's why I think it's important for us to at least make this clear, pour in water and try to get something, at least discussions on that side.
Great question.
Sure.
So we don't own the property. So,
No.
So you working with Vanderwall, is Vanderwall charging the village for stuff that we don't? I'm assuming that they're charging us.
Yeah, they charge us, I saw them all, so I asked them to help me put the application together, which was real, not much at all. It's very little in the bill. But if we get the grant, then the county and the village has to find a consultant to do that project.
So why wouldn't we be charging the county Vanderwall's fees? Because we don't own it. I mean, we're making plans, we're spending money on something that
The only
is
reason,
not us.
it's not you, but it's in our community.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in our community.
It's in our community, and if the county's gonna give us over $20,000 grant, they're gonna kick in 10,000, we're gonna kick in 10,000. And the whole idea is that we can do nothing. And the county sits there and they do nothing, and I don't think that's a good thing for us in the long run. So we have a chance to try to see if we can get a RFP out for a developer to look at it and also a demo portion of it. It's something and to be honest, because it's in the county ownership, it helps us as a community to have a partner and they want to do something too. And in turn, when our discussion with DMI, they said, well, if the county owns it, we said, DMI, what are you gonna do with it? And they said, well, we really don't want it either, but we wanna make sure you demo. Well, you're gonna demo it. The problem is no one wants us to demo. That's why we need to take this grant, work on, see if we can get some demo funds. Now, all said and done, and to be honest with you, I'm always am, is that we may not get nothing, but we at least gotta put an effort to have documents that we can try to go out there and get some process for that property. Well, the reason we put our foot forward is that in our village, I mean, we need to do nothing, just keep on letting it sit there, but it's gonna get to a point, and I don't wanna, we have our own ordinances. And then we're looking at the old post office, for example. And we get to the point, it's got mold, it's got certain pieces, so we start telling them we're condemning. We had, to- we do the right, we do it with the right arm, you gotta do it with the left arm. In other words, we have to start condemning it with the county, but also BMI. Excuse me. So we need to be proactive, see how we can get.
You're correct, we have the ordinances, but then can we start citing county because it is condemned? And putting the onus back on them to do something with it instead of us doing the legwork and spending our money. Of course, the county's gonna like that.
No, well, of course they will, but if we put it back on what county we're going. I don't know how, but, well, we can do that, but it's a village going after a county, and you need to try to work together on something. I know for two municipalities.
So you said that's a matching grant?
Yes, it's a grant that's been put out by Wood County. Wood County,
So it's $20,000 grant?
that's no, we're asking for 20,000.
Okay,
And usually you get 50% matching grant, so 10 would come from the county and 10 would come from us. And
okay,
then
wait, so that's where my question, it's part DMI's building. Why aren't we proposing 10 from the county and 10 from DMI and looping that into their demo? They can't just ignore that building.
True, and if we get the grant approval, our share is some way we can look for DMI to put their piece into it. Will they or will they not? I haven't been dealing with DMI on a lot of things, and I find them not that progressive with us, and
Right.
that's why they want.
Well, this might be the timing of using that information. You need to come to the table with that building. You need to come to the table with 10,000. And we're in the position of giving them their demo permit. This might be perfectly timed
And I have.
for the
I like-
leverage
I like your
conversation,
posi- I like your position on that, because that's something we're be talking about.
right? And taking that off of us and putting it on DMI in the county.
Well,
And
the
us
county-
being the facilitator
The
role,
county's gonna be putting 10 grand already.
right,
It's
right.
their building, they should pay the whole county. And why do you have a grant then?
It's not all their
Isn't it
building.
all, it's
No,
split.
they-
DMI just gonna put a wall, and they told us that before, they'll put a wall up and it's connected to the old finishing room or whatever. So DMI doesn't own the building. So, I mean, it's kind of like me saying, I'll give
DMI
you a
owns
grant
parts of it.
on my house, but you gotta pay 20 grand for my, we can discuss all this later. I just wanted to bring up that it's
No, I-
their building, so.
True, and I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, it sits in our village. So someone's gotta take the leadership to get these people together, to get something done. And that's where I'm coming from. And into, if you get pushed the county says yes, then you go push back DMI. And that's how I'm looking at it too. And your DMI, your suggestion is very, very important and very good that I have discussions around. However, with a deadline, it's gonna be 2025, and with a deadline July 5th. I felt it was important for our village, I'm working with you, is to get some action going on the property out there. And that was an opportunity. And I poked the bear at the county, and we talked to the county and the person who was in the planning department, who was a grant. Felt that was a great idea, because they need a push to do something with this piece of property too. And I'm being honest with you, I always have been.
I get it.
Mhm.
I
Making
think we
plans and not spending
literally
money on something that we don't
connected
know.
to that
I get
demo
that too.
permit. DMI's willingness to,
Anything else?
No, I really wanted to bring this up because I think it's important. It's all doable, working on it, and it was a deadline, so I put it through Betsy and I talked about it. Did sign it in, we don't have a proof we're gonna get it, and because of how we're sitting, they own part of it, they own the building. And it's our village, I think we're gonna see a good action on it from county. I think it'll be stupid if they don't get.
so on that demo permit,
That's
are
different.
they inclusive of their part of the building there?
No, their demo permit is just strictly for the old mill site.
So since we need that building taken care of, why aren't we saying you want the demo permit for that? You gotta take care of this also.
I like your approach, that's what I'm working on. I mean, I like your comment, like your approach. I'm gonna be seeing where I get. Both of these are not done deal, just that your information to you, I think is important, and your feedback is really important.
You said the deadline was July fifth.
Yes.
What was submitted by July fifth?
We submitted an application, their application to fill out, and we submitted that. In their request, we're looking at a process of putting an RFP together for someone to end up purchasing the property, not getting the property, put a development agreement together for us, see if we can find someone to do that. Also was in it, there was the piece for,
Both pieces, what the county owns and what DMI owns?
yeah, because both those pieces are tied together, and they know, and we wrote drafted that way too. Because both the part one county owns, the other piece DMI owns, and both pieces need to be demoed. And that's the piece that's very, very important to get some demo funds.
So is the village on the hook for part of this fund if it goes through?
That's what I'm talking about. We're submitted to 10,000, which would be part of our TIF district, but I was talking to Diane. Diane said, make sure that we have to be very careful on what the costs were on our TIF. She'd like to flag for me. The thing is that that's where our 10 come, but in turn, if we can get 5 or 10 out of DMI, then we don't give nothing about our TIF. That's what you're saying.
If we can get 10 out of DMI.
Yeah.
It's their building.
So the other question I got is, you had a discussion with Betsy and basically earmarked 10 grand out of the TIF possibly without anybody else knowing. Shouldn't that have gone through the PIF committee?
That's true, because I didn't have can you go to a short line? And also, I was working first to try to get it with YMCA. YMCA they didn't have matching funds. But then I know we have enough funds to at least do this study. And the big thing is trying to find people interested in coming and doing a development there. There's some hurdles you gotta go through. I mentioned all the hurdles to you. And that portion of it. I can write them back and say, pull us off the request, if that's what you want me to do, but I think it's something that the village needs some action there. We have to put our best foot forward somehow.
I think a decision can be made if we do get the grant, then if we accept the grant or we don't accept the grant. And
Right, you can reject it.
Then we can decide that how we finance it. If we do or do not get anything from DMI or the TIP, that should be a decision of the board.
I'm not, but you have a way of saying no, but I want to make sure you got the oil and water. And then I wanted to explain that to you this meeting. And I'm not hiding anything. I'm just trying to make sure that what I did, that you all know.
Right, we're not locked into accept it.
No, not really. They can accept us and then we'd say, no, we don't, we're not.
No
gonna proceed
thanks.
there.
Anything else?
No.
From the village administrator, okay. And then report from clerk treasurer.
I'd like to ask for a motion to approve a temporary Class B license for the Port Edwards Lions Club for one day only, July 23rd, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Radke,
Second.
second from Hess.
Can I ask a
Just-
question?
No, yep.
So that's for the community picnic that they put on?
Mhm.
Yes. I think they have a rain date of the next day, so because it says only for one day, what happens if they have to use the rain date?
We just let them use
Let it
the
go.
rain date,
Okay.
yeah.
Pardon me, what did you say, Dave?
We would just let them use the rain date then, yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. Any other questions on that?
2025.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 24.
Catch.
The time is
Oh.
flying.
Oh, the first one was right. Okay, so, with the correct year, we have, any other discussion? Sorry.
Do you want me to amend it? I'll make that motion amended to 2024.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Okay, so now we're voting on the amended motion to approve the Class B license for July 23rd, 2024. And that was by Radke and Hess. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries.
And I'd
Okay.
also like to ask for a motion to approve an operator's license for Jason Leverance for the Lions Club, valid from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025.
That one's supposed to be 2025,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Grundon,
Second.
second by Radke. Discussion.
I just have a question. Has Jason taken the responsible beverage?
And background checks. Yep. he's good.
Okay, anything else? Okay, motion by Grundon, second by Radke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries then. Okay, moving, do you have anything else, Diane? I'm sorry. Okay. Trustee comments. Does anybody have anything? No, committee calendars. Okay, I think I have them all right. Let me know if I don't. PFC is coming up Monday, this July 15th at 5 o'clock. Public Works, July 24th at 10. Parks and Rec is to be determined. Public Safety, July 24th at 4:30. Pitt, the 31st at 5:30. FHR is going to be the 8th at 4:30, and then Committee of the Whole at 6, preferably, correct? Is that how you wanted
Do you
that?
make 4:30 or you have to 5?
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
right.
that'd be
5.
5.
Okay, 5 on August 8th.
I understand that FHR is going first. and it's gonna be the whole-
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, did I miss anything? And then I will, without objection, call for adjournment at 8:01.